Today's video is all about a few miscellaneous items from the Tactical HD range from Wychwood. Now, I've done a recent video about the rucksacks and carryalls in the range where I raved about the 1200D material used in their construction. That same fabric carries over onto these items, which range from a roll-up for your bank sticks and buzzer bars right up to a big old bedchair bag here. Now, 1200D, that's a measure of denier, that's the thickness, and it's actually the weight of the fabric used, and it explains durability really. And in the fishing world, generally we're seeing about 600D as the sort of standard for your fishing luggage. This is double that, so it's heavy, but it's really thick, really coarse. It just feels, as soon as you pick it up, as soon as you look at it, to be honest, with that distinctive square weave, you can tell it's really hard wearing. And I'm genuinely impressed by that. I think it's nice to see something a bit different in the fishing market, and you can tell this does stand out when placed next to other products. So let's have a look at what we've got here. I'll start with what's next to me. This is a big old 𝘁𝗶𝗀𝗲 bag. It measures 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, which I think Google tells me is a capacity of 27 litres. I've got 2 or 3 kilos of boilies in here today, and they're dwarfed in there really. I reckon you could easily get 10 kilos of bait in this big old bag. It's got an insulated lining inside. There's a zip-up mesh pocket in the lid as well. And what I like about the zips on the outside, it's double zipped, which is really good for easy access, and those zips look nice and durable. But they also tuck round the back on their path round, so they don't just zip around 3 sides, they zip around 3 and a bit. Perhaps difficult to explain, but hopefully I can show you in some cutaway footage. It just means that the flap opens really easily. You don't get stuck when you're trying to dive in there, and you've got easy access when putting things in and taking things out. In terms of carrying it, you've got 2 straps on the side. They don't Velcro together, but I don't particularly like that personally, and you can just hold them like that. Also, and it's true across the range here with this Tactical HD, is that you can attach a sold separately shoulder strap, which is I think only $5.99, which is a bit of a bargain from Wychwood. There are loops, heavy-duty loops sewn in already, and you can just clip in one of those straps and you can carry it over your shoulder, which you can do with all the items I've got here in front of me. Now, another thing, I've got bait in here today, but if I was on an overnight session or a longer weekend session, I wanted to take some food, one good thing I have noticed, it does take one of those large bottles that Tesco sell 3 for a £5 of upright. So that disappears in there. Some cool bags, you're sort of trying to stuff the beers a little bit awkwardly, but I have noticed that fits in perfectly, which is a bit of a boon for a weekend session. Right, next up, we've got this roll bag, which is for your buzzer bars, bank sticks, that sort of thing. Plenty of loops and holes for bank sticks. I've put 3 bank sticks on the rear here, and it rolls out with a big Velcro pad there. And I've put my buzzers, my bank sticks, spare bobbins in here. I've got my receiver in there, loads of storage. Again, it's that really heavy duty 1200D material, which has to be felt to be believed, I think. It really is very hard wearing and very distinctive. And basically it's a roll up, fold up, hold all for all your bankware really. It would be lovely if there was a loop at the top, just so you could hang it somewhere, even on a tree or in your bivvy. I do think that's a trick that they've missed here, but there's zip mesh up pockets. I've put bobbins and an extra buzzer bar in there, and it folds up very nicely. As I say, plenty of space for bank sticks. I'll move that out the way. Now, this is an interesting item. I think it's called the Bits and Bobs bags, which Bits and Bobs bag even, which is an apt description. I've used it today in Sainsbury's actually. I've used it as a Carp shopping bag and a reusable one at that, so good for the environment. It's in that camo material, that camo pattern that Wychwood do so well. And basically it's really good for just stuffing those odds and ends. Sometimes I come fishing and I've got a bright orange Sainsbury's bag, but from now on I can stuff all bits and bobs that don't need to be refrigerated or kept cool in here. Again, it's got those loops on the side, and I've attached, this is the optional strap that you can buy separately from Wychwood, and you can carry it over your shoulder, or you can just carry it sort of like hand luggage. Now, I've put some wet weather gear in here. We're in May at the moment, but it feels like October. So I've put some wet weather gear in there. I've also used this before in a previous session and put my waders in there. So it could be a sort of temporary wader bag. Now hasn't got any drain holes or ventilation, so I wouldn't keep waders in there for a long time, but it's good for transporting those sort of wet items at the end of a session back to your car. So quite versatile, but it is just a bag after all. We'll move that to one side, and then we'll come across the last item, which is a massive bedchair bag. And I have never used a bedchair bag before. Bit of a confession, I don't think I've ever felt the need for one. Until today, to be honest. Quick interruption before I tell you how that Bedchair bag saved me a whole load of hassle today. I'm here to remind you about CARPology competitions, where from as little as 99p you can win a whole load of carpy tackle. To see what competitions we're currently running, click the link in the comments below. The first thing, I put it in the car, and it meant that the legs and little bits of metal weren't getting caught up with sort of delicate things like rod eyes and things like that. It did actually help the way I could load things in and out of the car. On this one, you can sort of ratchet it down so it's nice and compact, and there are grab handles all over. There are 3 different grab handles, 2 on the top and 1 on the side, so you can slide it in and out of a car. And actually, having spent all my fishing life not thinking I needed a Bedchair bag, this has actually been a pleasant surprise. And I'm fishing the final swim on the lake today, the furthest walk from the car park, and my Barrow wheel gave up after about 100 metres, complete flat tyre, couldn't pump it up. So actually, I did take one of the carry straps, one of the over-the-shoulder straps, from another bag in this Wychwood range, and I attached it to my Bedchair bag here, and I carried the Bedchair. So I have tested this as an actual bag. I've never done that before, never needed to, but today I had a blowout on the wheel, and I've actually put this through its paces, and it saved me a bit of arm ache today. So it's a big old bag. I've got a Bedchair in there with a sleeping bag and a cover on it, and a chair as well folded into it. So it all fits in nicely in there. I'd imagine it fits standard size bed chairs. I don't think it would quite stretch to those much larger, almost double bed size bed chairs, but it fits everything I'm needing today. And that's the final item here in our range of tactical HD gear from Wychwood.